Welcome to Tech Talks with Kinsoft. Today, we're unraveling a topic that's really become non-negotiable for pretty much every professional out there: cybersecurity. The online world is buzzing, definitely, but unfortunately, that also means, a big jump in cybercrime. We're going to explore what these threats mean for you specifically, using a pretty significant real-world case study. Our goal is to cut through the noise, really, and give you the essential insights so you can be informed and prepared.
Yeah, and what's really striking is just how fast these threats change, right? They're always shifting, looking for new online opportunities. We'll connect that to how businesses, especially professional services like, say, law practices, are affected and what measures actually seem to work.
Exactly. We'll look closely at a recent, very public cyber incident in the legal sector. We'll get into the nitty gritty of what went down, and then importantly, pivot to why having the right kind of cyber insurance is, well, it's not really optional anymore. So let's start with the bigger picture. We're seeing this clear trend. Cybercrime is definitely rising, especially here in Australia. Criminals are getting smarter, focusing online, and it's causing, major disruption, real losses. It's much more than just a small hassle.
And that brings up a really important point. What do these losses actually look like for a practice? It's not just the obvious stuff. I mean, sure, there are the immediate costs, investigation, IT fixes to get systems back up, rebuilding from backups, finding the vulnerability, all that. But then there are these huge first-party losses. That's things like lost income because you can't operate, extra expenses just to keep things afloat during the interruption. These costs, the ones the business itself suffers, they're often overlooked, but honestly, they can be devastating. Resilience is key.
Right. And to really see what this looks like in practice, let's dive into a specific case, a very public one involving the Legal Practice Board of Western Australia, the LPBWA. They had a major cyber incident, and it turned out to be a group calling themselves Direwolf.
Direwolf, yeah, they're relatively new, but pretty aggressive. They actually state their motive is just money. They say no morals, no political stance, no LGBT, and they use these double extortion techniques.
Double extortion, what does that mean exactly?
Well, it means they don't just lock up your data with ransomware and demand money to unlock it. They also steal a copy of your data before they encrypt it. Then they threaten to publish that stolen data online if you don't pay up.
Wow. So they hit you twice, operationally and reputationally.
Exactly. It massively increases the pressure, especially for businesses that handle sensitive client information. Think law firms, accountants. The reputational damage can be huge.
Okay, so let's unpack the LPBWA incident itself. How did it unfold?
Well, they detected unusual activity on their network. That was on Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. That discovery led them to, act fast. They took some systems offline right away, including their main website services, basically to contain the problem.
And what happened right after that? How did they keep operating?
They had to switch to manual workarounds. Think about that, processing applications, renewals for practicing certificates, all by hand or through less efficient methods.
That must have been incredibly disruptive for the practitioners relying on them.
Absolutely. It shows the immediate real-world impact on just day-to-day operations. Slows everything down.
Then things escalated. They found out some information had actually been disclosed publicly. That was Tuesday, May 27th. So what kind of data are we talking about? What got out?
Their investigation confirmed it was limited corporate correspondence. It had some minimal contact information, a bit of operational and resourcing information, and crucially, banking information for the board itself, and a very small number of third parties. Those third parties were notified directly, of course.
Okay. Minimal contact info, some operational stuff, some banking details.
Right. And importantly, they confirmed that sensitive personal data like trust information or residential addresses was not part of that disclosure. That was a key finding, thankfully.
But the attackers, Direwolf, they made some big claims, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. They claimed they'd stolen a massive 300 gigabytes of data. Classic tactic to scare the victim. They even published a timeline threatening to release samples, then half the files, then the rest over the next month or so.
300 gigs. That sounds absolutely terrifying.
It does. And the threat was real, designed to maximize pressure. But, and this is important, the LPBWA kept monitoring very closely. On June 19th, someone did post a link supposedly containing data, but the LPBWA reviewed it immediately and confirmed that specific data does not relate to the board. So the attackers might have been bluffing or exaggerating the scope.
So verifying the attacker's claims is crucial. Don't just take their word for it.
Exactly. And they haven't detected any further related activity since then. It shows the importance of that verification step.
What steps did the LPBWA take in response, beyond the technical side?
They brought in external experts, worked closely with Cybersecurity Western Australia, and they took a significant legal step, too. They obtained an injunction.
An injunction. What does that actually achieve in this context?
Well, it's a court order. It legally prohibits anyone from accessing, sharing, or using the impacted data. So if someone tries to publish it or trade it, they're breaking the law. It has a serious legal weapon to their recovery efforts.
Interesting. And what about the direct impact on the legal practitioners themselves?
Well, besides the manual forms we mentioned, the Find a Practitioner online search tool was down for a while. That was inconvenient for the public and other lawyers.
And they waived late fees for a bit.
Yeah, for the June renewals, they waived the late fees because of all the disruption. But those fees came back on July 1st.
Okay, so this whole LPBWA case study, it really drives home how vulnerable organizations can be, right? Even statutory bodies.
Absolutely. Even organizations you'd think would have robust security. It leads us straight into the critical need for protection, and specifically, cyber insurance.
Right. So thinking about legal practices again, how does this fit with their standard insurance? Like a professional indemnity policy, say, from the LPLC.
That's a great question, and there's often confusion here. A standard PI policy, like the LPLC's, does cover certain things. It covers your civil liability related to your legal practice. So if a third party, like a client, sues you for damages because their data was breached due to your firm's mistake, that kind of claim usually falls under the PI policy.
Okay, so third-party claims like a client suing you.
Exactly. But here's the really crucial part, that PI policy generally does not cover the firm's own business losses, those first-party losses we talked about earlier.
Ah, okay, so it wouldn't cover things like
the cost of the business being interrupted, the income you lose while you're down,
Yeah.
or the cost of retrieving your data, the IT forensics, rebuilding your systems, maybe even regulatory fines. All those costs fall directly on the firm itself.
And those costs can be huge, as we saw with the LPBWA needing experts and workarounds.
Astronomical, potentially. Imagine being shut down for weeks. Your PI policy might handle the client lawsuit, but it won't pay for getting your own business back up and running, or the income lost during that time. That's a massive financial gap.
Which explains why we're seeing more firms getting separate cyber insurance, right, to fill that gap.
Precisely. It's becoming standard procedure now. Firms are buying cyber insurance cover to supplement their other insurances. In fact, the LPLC recognized this gap was so significant, they actually worked with insurers, Marsh & Chubb, to create an optional commercial cyber policy. It's designed specifically to sit alongside the PI cover and handle those first-party losses.
That really says something about how essential this type of cover has become.
It really does. It underlines that strong cybersecurity isn't just about firewalls and software updates. It's also about financial resilience. The threats are always changing: sophisticated scams, accidental data leaks, even new risks from things like AI being used in practices. Cyber insurance provides that vital safety net for your costs, the first-party risks that your PI policy just isn't designed to cover.
Okay, so given everything we've discussed, the rising threats, the dire wolf example, the insurance gaps, what practical steps can people listening take now to protect themselves and their organizations?
Right, let's get practical. For your organization, it starts with a proactive, multi-layered defense that's more than just antivirus software.
Right.
It means having robust security frameworks, regular vulnerability testing like penetration testing to find weaknesses before the bad guys do. And crucially, having a well-thought-out, tested incident response plan. What do you actually do when something happens? Who do you call? How do you communicate? It's like a fire drill, but for cyber incidents.
And training for staff must be key, too.
Absolutely critical. Regular, engaging training on spotting phishing emails, understanding social engineering tactics, because often the human element is the easiest way in for attackers.
Okay, that's the organization. What about on a personal level, especially if you're worried your details might have been exposed somewhere?
Yeah, good point. Even if it's just minimal contact information or banking details, extra vigilance is essential. Ask yourself, are you really checking your bank account statements and transaction histories regularly for anything suspicious? That's your first line of defense.
And if you see something weird?
Contact your bank directly. Use the official phone number from their website or the back of your card. Never ever click a link in an email or text message purporting to be from them.
Good advice. What else?
Use two-step authentication or multi-factor authentication wherever you possibly can, especially for important accounts like email and banking. Consider hardware tokens if possible. Also, check your credit report at least once a year. It can alert you if someone's trying to open accounts in your name.
And the email advice bears repeating. Never click links or open attachments in suspicious emails. Just delete them or call the supposed sender directly to verify.
Exactly. It's always safer to verify independently.
So the reality is, these risks aren't going away. They're constantly changing shape.
That's right. It's not a one-and-done fix. It's a continuous process of assessment, adaptation, and vigilance, both at work and at home. You know, considering how fast and clever these criminals are getting online, it's worth asking yourself, how prepared are you, really, for a digital incident? And what steps can we all take, maybe starting today, to build a culture where thinking about and mitigating cyber risks is just second nature, like locking your door at night?
That's a powerful thought to end on. We really hope this exploration of the recent cyber incidents and the role of cyber insurance has given you some valuable insights and some concrete takeaways. Understanding these threats and knowing how to prepare and respond is just so crucial now.
Yeah, knowledge is great, but it's most valuable when you actually understand it and apply it. So stay vigilant, stay informed, and remember, it's a constantly evolving landscape. There's always more to learn.
Absolutely. For more information on securing your own digital environment or to discuss your specific security and IT needs, you can head over to www.kinsoft.com.au. That's www.kinsoft.com.au. Thank you for joining us on Tech Talks with Kinsoft. We look forward to sharing more insights with you next time.